Donovan, how are you feeling comfort-wise in the offense? After being in one system for so long, what point do you get to where it's not so much thinking, it comes instinct?
You know, it's coming along really well. I think we're progressing as an offense where we can come out here and compete and make some plays. I think as far as chemistry and timing, that's something that we're working on right now. And I think we've definitely taken big steps from the OTAs and mini camps. And we're in a position right now where we can go out in game situation and be able to put some points on the board, I believe. But that's not being satisfied. I mean, we're a team that wants to be at the top of everything in offense and defense. And in order for us to be able to do that, we got to get out here on this field and be consistent by making plays.
How would you describe Kyle Shanahan as
Fiery guy, young guy with a lot of energy. I think the thing about Kyle is, you know, he's been a part of obviously success on offense in Houston with Schaub and the year that he had last year, the way that they progressed after Schaub's first year of starting. But good things can happen, and when you have a guy like that who has an attitude of being able to go downfield, attack downfield, and if nothing's there, give your guys opportunities to make plays and being able to run the ball, I think is going to help.
Donovan, how can you tell at this early in camp whether the line is coming together? Is it too early for that kind of stuff?
I don't think it's too early. I think these guys are doing a fairly decent job. I mean, you know, they're giving us time back in the pocket to be able to go through our reads and get the ball out. You know, I know that it's kind of been a question over the years, but I'm seeing a team that's really working hard. And giving us an opportunity to get the ball out of our hands and get it downfield. I think as quarterbacks, when you're seeing blitz and you know that you're hot, you got to get the ball out of your hands and take pressure off of them. But I think we're doing a good job. We're running the ball pretty well. We're able to get the ball to our receivers and let them work outside. So I think as a unit, we're not where we want to be, but we're definitely progressing.
As a quarterback, how do you read? Do you read that stuff as it develops, or does it matter, or does it just have to take care of itself?
Everything takes care of itself. I think if you begin to kind of ponder on what's going on right now you begin to fall away from some of the weaknesses, things that you need to work on. I think each and every one of us have something that we obviously want to improve on. And in doing that, this is the perfect time to do that. So that's the way that we're all approaching it. And you know, by the time hopefully we get into these preseason games, we'll be improving. So to come first game, we can kind of just go out and play football.
Donovan, what's your impression of the running backs having thrown to them so far?
Well, I think our running backs present a different quality, and I think you know, we know Clinton is very effective running the ball. We can kind of use him as a pass catcher as well, but he does great in the blocking scheme of picking up the blitz. Willie's a hard runner, downhill kind of guy, but he's another guy you can get the ball in his hands and, you know, in the flats as well as versus a linebacker. And Willie's a fast guy that, you know, you want to be able to give him an opportunity to make a guy miss and pick up 40, 50 yards. He's that type of guy, that home run guy. They're three different guys, and you know, I think we're going to use them wisely. And we just want to kind of see what happens.
Artis was saying with the blocking scheme, everything is so intertwined, even down to the way the quarterback hands off. Do you find how does that change how you?
Well, it's a lot different, and Artis and I obviously were teammates for years, and then he went over to Minnesota, so the offense was very similar. So we're both kind of going through a growing process here in this offense, and things are a little different. And you know, sometimes we're telling guys where they need to go. We may change up a blocking scheme with a call, whatever it may be. And that's kind of something that we all have to study and make sure we're prepared for, and make sure that we're all on the same page with it.
Donovan, you hit a couple deep passes to Santana Moss in practice. How much of that is a result of the time you spent what you called Hell Week in Arizona leading up to the training camp?
I would like to say that it was really beneficial for going to Arizona. You guys can come out in Arizona Hell Week and improve your media skills. We're going to have classes for that. You know, because some of you guys really need this training camp to improve and get ready for the season. But you know what, I would like to say it helped a lot. But you know, we worked on a lot of different things besides the deep pass. We know that, you know, we have some plays in this offense where we're going to attack, you know, their safeties and try to get downfield. But most importantly, just kind of work the intermediate passing game, make sure we're spitting out the plays and everyone knows what they're doing. And I can kind of work on their speed coming in and out of routes and be able to place the ball. The bond is definitely forming. you know, I take pride in trying to build that chemistry and bond on the field as well as off the field with those guys. And you know, we spent time in Arizona, and I think it was important not just on the field, but off the field as well. Communication is something I think really pays big dividends when you're out on the field in certain situations. It could be a scramble drill. It could be me sliding up in the pocket, they're covered, and all of a sudden the safety looks back at me, he takes it downfield. All of a sudden, you know, the Redskins are cheering, and you know, we got the hogs in the stands, and the ladies are cheering. It's the most important thing. That's what we're trying to do.
Donovan, you sort of beneficiary with the wide receivers being the biggest competition with 11 guys there. You're sort of beneficiary that you get to work with all those guys.
Well, I think it gives everybody an opportunity to get a look. You know, it's competition everywhere. And, you know, every time I step out on the field, I'm competing, not just with the quarterbacks, but I'm competing to show the guys that I know what I'm doing. And you want to give the guys an opportunity to be evaluated correctly. You know, if they're running the right route, catching the ball, making the guy miss, picking up yards, that's something obviously that you look for in our receivers. And all our guys are doing a fairly decent job, and we're all improving together.
Hey, Donovan, when you look at the Redskins defense so far, showing a lot of different looks, guys coming from all over. As a quarterback, what does it make it more difficult to get an accurate feel for what's going on, and what kind of things does it do to an offense?
Well, I mean, I think just I just really focus on just what we're doing as a unit. And then I kind of go to what do I need to do to improve to maybe take pressure off of the rest of the guys. I don't really kind of go pinpoint of who's doing what and what they need to do. That's not my job.
But even in a game when you're seeing a defense that plays that style,
right,
as a quarterback.
Well, I mean, after going up against a 3-4 scheme like we're seeing here in practice, obviously we're going to see probably 4 teams or 3 or 4 teams that play 3-4. So we're kind of going to have an upper hand a little bit of what our plays are going to be and what we need to do against those teams. Obviously, when we play during the season, Dallas plays 3-4, and then pretty much throughout the season we're playing 4-3 teams. So, you know, we're going to have to make shift kind of as the season continues on. But at this particular point, playing against our defense where they're flying around, has us coming up with different blitzes, obviously to challenge our offense. We're answering the bell at times, and that's what this is all about. It's about a competition, and at the end of the day, when you watch the film, you can correct your mistakes and come out the next day.
We hear from Shanahan every day about how each play is scrutinized and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when you take that and you throw a couple picks to Moore today, how do you just put that out of your mind?
Well,
you evaluate
you know what,
yourself?
you have to have short-term memory, especially on the field. You can't ponder on throwing 1 interception or 2 because there's a whole other game left to play. I think when you get in that situation, obviously after the game, you watch the film, you see what happened. Could you have pulled the ball back? You know, was there someone else that you could have went to? Could you may have held it 1 more second to give your receiver an opportunity to get over there? That's something that you watch when you're watching film afterwards. But when you're out on the field, you have to have short-term memory. You got to put that behind you and move on. He brings a lot of experience. I told him he was on pretty much Tecmo Bowl and ColecoVision back when Bo Jackson was running down the sideline. But you know what, the thing about, he'll probably tell you I was right behind him compared to the young guys we got on this team. But you know what, the thing about it, Joey brings experience. He brings a big play capability. He still can get downfield and stretch the field. You want to get the ball in his hands and give him an opportunity. But when you have kind of guys like, you know, Joey, and then you have Santana, Devin, Malcolm, you know, Armstrong, those guys, everybody's a little different. Some guys stretch the field a little bit more. Some guys are very effective in the intermediate game. Some guys you just want to find ways to get the ball to. So Joey probably was playing, you know, his 5th year in the league when probably most of the guys were born. You know, he probably paid back when, you know, John Riggins and them were playing. But, you know, that's just Joey. I mess with him all the time. Oh, Artis has done a great job. Artis was a guard with us in Philly. He was a guard / tackle in Minnesota. So, you know, when you have an athletic guy like that, you know, if he moves the tackle, you still have that confidence that he's going to be able to do it. And now when you bring in a guy like Jamal Brown, experienced Pro Bowler, you know, those guys can communicate on the right side, and the confidence factor continues to rise. And those guys are obviously adjusting together. We're all learning. And I think when the time comes, you're going to see a big duo, not just on the right side, but also on the left side with Trent and Doc.